Okay, hello everybody. This is gonna be me and Jasper's first tutorial on FL Studios. It's gonna be on how to make a beat. So first of all, what is FL Studios? Basically, it's a music making app. You can make music on this app, on this program, as well as edit your previously made music and add effects to it. So we just open it, and here's the first screen that we come to. This may look very intimidating, but it's actually pretty intuitive and easy to understand once you get the hang of it. So what the screen we're on right now is called the playlist. So basically by clicking this button takes us to the playlist. So the playlist is basically your general screen, the main screen that you start on. Every single track here you can see it's a sound. So the first top layer we have some chords, and then this is the melody and some kick and stuff from there, and we go from there. Alright, so I guess to start us off we have the playlist, and then we have the channel rack. So on the channel rack is where you're going to add all the sounds that you're going to use in your music. So where do we get these sounds? Well, when you first get FL Studios, you're going to get some plugins that are going to come with FL Studios, such as FL Keys. So basically we can add on the plus button here, and it will take us to this screen, and we can add something like FL Keys, which is a very simple piano. Here, FL Keys, basically these are all plugins. So if I didn't explain that, plugins are basically just sounds. So all of these make a different type of sound, and you want to find the one that you want. You can download more off the internet, or you can click here. This is called the plugin browser, plugin picker. So this is where different plugins that you download can be found. So let's just go right here. Whoops. Alright, so these are different sounds that anyways, that's more complicated. So for the first tutorial, we won't focus as much on that. So on the channel rack, we have FL Keys here. So when you left click on FL Keys, it can take you to this pop-up. So from here, basically we want to click on something like piano roll, and this is, I hope you guys can hear that. This is where you can add sounds basically. So in the first pattern, which is here, which is the chords, we have this simple pattern that was already made. So that just continues, that just raps. Alright, so right now we're gonna go into some of the very basics of FL Studios. So up top is where your most important buttons are gonna be. So here we have the different screens that you can access. All these are very important to know. Here are your different patterns. So basically you take your channel rack and you add these different sounds that you have, right, into these different patterns, and you want to put all your different sounds into different patterns, not just one pattern, because that way you can actually arrange your music. So in this case, you have the chords here before the melody and so on. So you need a good arrangement so that your songs are not boring and it's just the same thing over and over again. And up here, this is also very important, and it's also pretty intuitive. So here's the play button. After the song starts playing, it becomes the pause button. So and here's the stop button, which stops the song as well. Here we have a metronome, which adds a click every single bar. So this lets you kind of feel where the music's at. Here's the pattern mode, or basically it's like it replays the one pattern that you're on endlessly. It just loops it. So here we see the progress through the pattern, and after it reaches the end, it will just simply go back to the beginning of it. So let's pause that. Here's the tempo. So tempo is basically the speed at which your song is going. So increasing tempo will increase the speed that the song is played at. And that's it. Alright, so let's go into what we have done on our song. So we open up the channel rack right here, and this is what we use. We use Nexus, this plugin called Nexus, to make our sound. So when we double left click this button right here, Nexus, we go into this screen. So Nexus is a very powerful plugin. There's a lot of different sounds you can go into. There's bass, there's classical, there's synths. Basically all these are different sounds that we can all experiment with later, but right now we have chosen a select sound for our music. But now we're gonna go into the piano roll. So these are the chords that we saw earlier. I suggest for music beginners that you search up these chords on the internet, or you just find a source to find musical chords, because it's really hard to learn the musical theory behind these. But if we listen, chords are basically just notes that sound nice together. So and as you can tell, all of those chords sound nice together. Any beginner should also do research into scales and decide which scale they're gonna use for the music, and make sure that all of their music such as the chords and the melody are all in the same key, as well as the 808 and their drums, so it's all tuned well together and so it all sounds harmonic. That's very important for your music, guys. And this is the piano roll. So from here we can open up the channel rack and click here to go to the piano roll, or we can simply click on this button to go to the piano roll. That's all the same thing. And now I'll pass it over to Jasper to do the drums.
All right, so here is what the drums are sounding like. So you want the kick to hit as hard as possible. So what you can do is you put the kick in the piano roll, and it comes in like that, and you can hold right click and drag it all the way to the very top, and that maximizes the velocity and makes it hit as hard as possible. And you also usually want to put effects on all your sounds. So you go click on the sound, click this button, which takes you to the mixer, and you route it to any of these inserts. So I actually like the kick the way it is, so I'm not going to add any effects to it. But for the snare, it is a little loud, so I routed it to this insert, and I just turned it down a little bit. And also, here are the hi-hats for later in the beat. And so for the hi-hats, we turn the velocity down when it gets really fast, so it doesn't hit too hard. It doesn't hit the ear too hard. And together with the kick and snare, this is what it sounds like. For really nice beats, like if I really want to make a good beat, I want to keep the melody simple, because if someone's going to be singing or rapping, we want that to be the main focus. So here is a simple melody using the same piano that I used for the chords. And we also have a pluck where we also use Nexus, and it just sounds like this. For this beat, we wanted a hard, really kind of loud 808, so this is what we have. So if you don't have headphones, this could be really hard to hear, so I just want to say that first. So one thing that we did was put a slide here at the very end of the note. So to make a slide note, you want to just click anywhere like a regular note and double click. Hit the circle beside the triangle, accept, and now it's a slide note. So you can change the duration of the slide note to change how long the slide is. So if I were to do this, the slide would last the whole time. But if I were to do this, it would only start sliding at this time, and it would take this long to slide. So this one slides at the very end, and it's a really fast slide. So I don't know. It does it really quickly. And then another thing you can do if you want, so I put a slide here, and then I wanted it to completely go quiet after. So I put in another note just like normal, and then you take the velocity and drag it all the way down. So what that does is just shut off all of the noise. So this is what it sounds like. So there, it just completely shut off. Here we have more slides where it slides down and then slides back up. And then here, I just kept it simple at the end. And now you just want to add a crash here. So I have this. Also, at the end of some bars, you want to just have a drum fill or something just to keep things interesting. So we have these chords right now. One thing you can do to really add some extra effect to your music is you take the sound and you just want to put it anywhere on the mixer, any insert on the mixer. I already put it on insert 7, Control L like I said before. And what you can do is you can add a gross beat. So I've already done it here. You have the gross beat. And you want to go to momentary. So presets, momentary. And you should see a half speed right here. You click that and it sounds like this. So what it does is it turns your pattern or your sound 1 octave lower and also halves the speed. So what you can do is you can right click this knob. So this knob controls the gross beat. So if I were to turn it all the way down, it would just be normal. And if I turned it all the way up, if I turn it all the way up, it'll be in effect. So what you can do is you can right click it, click create automation clip, and now you can control if you want, when you want it to be in effect and when you don't want it to be in effect. So what I did was I had it in effect in the beginning of the song, and I wanted it to just shut off before the drop. So that's what I did here. So at the beginning, you have it, and then during this area, it slowly goes back to normal speed. This is a warning for all headphone users. So here we have kick, 808, and the snare, and this is what it sounds like. So since the kick and the 808 are both in the lowest frequency that we can hear, sometimes they can get muddy. So what we want to do is sidechain the kick sometimes. This is not always, like, you'll have to use your own ear to judge whether you want to add a sidechain or not. But in this case, I'm choosing to add a sidechain. So I have routed kick into insert 2, and I've routed this 808 into insert 8. So I want to go to insert 2, and I already did it, but I'll just show again. I'll show you guys again. There's an arrow here. You want to click that, route your unit 2, or route your insert 2 to the insert 8, and turn it all. It might be like that when you first click it. You want to turn it all the way down, and then you want to go to insert 8. You want to add a new effect plugin and put in a limiter. There's a lot of ways to sidechain, but this is probably the most simple one. And you start off here. You click on comp, right click right here, and click the kick. Now these are the two things that control the sidechain. This controls how quiet the 808 goes, and this controls how fast it comes back up. So if I were to go like this, the 808 would shut off completely when the kick comes in. So this is what it would sound like. So this way, the kick is playing and the 808 is playing as well, and they are both very distinct and not muddy, and they're not together. But in this case, I would want to turn it up so I could hear more 808, because I don't like it shutting off completely. So something like this, we can listen to it and see how we like it. right, so this is our end product. We hope you enjoyed the tutorial. We hope any beginners now have a better idea of how to use the program, and we'll see you next time.